And it's recording over here, so we're good. Perfect.
Okay, we're recording.
Okay, we might have to edit this first.
So this is good.
Hi, now we're gonna start our live. We're gonna start our live, go live, okay?
Should we make that down a little?
Okay, yeah, let's make it down. Okay. Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, little lovies. Okay, we're doing our live training. Sorry we're late.
Yes.
Technical, beautiful, wonderful stuff is happening, but we're here.
Whew, okay. So if you're joining us on Facebook Live, we're going to be looking this way.
Yes, because we have a Zoom to do.
But we'll periodically be checking in to see if you guys have any questions for us. So thank you for joining us if you're joining us on Facebook or if you're joining us on Zoom. Yay! Okay, so this is our live training for Shift to Rise. And I am Kimi. And this is Tara, and we are two of your Shift to Rise leaders. Two of our two other leaders are not with us today here, and that's Pua and Ryan. But we are here to bring you a training on how to do a life inventory today.
Yes, how to do a life inventory. I'm laughing because right before we got on this call, it was hilarious in this room.
We have a lot of tech going right now.
So many different things happening at once. And Pua is normally our tech person, right? Who's like keeping everything all up. And we're like, oh my God, wait, but we did it.
Yeah.
But we have a beautiful, beautiful graphic for you.
We're hoping the graphics portion of this presentation goes really smoothly.
Please.
And we thankfully also Tara is going to lead us through a grounding meditation to start, which is exactly what we need right now.
So bad. So if you guys have any essential oils at home, something that's a little more grounding, so not a citrus or a peppermint, but lavender, frankincense. This is called Purify. I'm just going to put one drop on my palm and kind of breathe it in.
I would do the same. Yes.
Okay.
Creating our.
Thank you. That's all.
Creating our sacred space.
Yeah, we're going to create a sacred space for this training. So if you're at home, or if you're listening to this later, you can do whatever you need to do to just ground yourself. We're going to check in. So if everybody could please sit somewhere that you're not being distracted in this moment is best. And go ahead and relax in the chair that you're in, or if you're lying down, and close the eyes. And just begin to feel the breath moving in and out of the body. And take the deepest breath you have taken all day in this moment. And let's just bring all aspects of ourselves back. Just bring all aspects of yourself back into the space, back into the body right now. Any parts of you that are floating away or floating out there, just bring them back and consolidate yourself in this moment. As you breathe in, you're connecting to the deepest part of yourself, the part that is unchanging, that is full of wisdom and guidance for you in every single moment of your life. It is always there. Infinite resource. You are an infinite resource. And let's ask higher self to just guide us today in this life inventory, knowing that we're going to get exactly what we need. And feeling grateful for this moment in the space of your heart, and grateful for yourself for taking this time today to do this work. So I acknowledge you for that. Another deep breath in. You can open the eyes whenever you're ready.
Wow. I needed that.
I needed that too. Sometimes I get so relaxed when I'm doing those that I have to come back, continue, and I'm like, I could just sit here for an hour.
That is such a great reminder, though, that we have that tool available to us at all times. It's free, it's fast, it's right here.
You are, an infinite resource.
Love that.
So let's tap into that infinite resource.
Yes.
And Why, Kimmy, are we doing a life inventory today?
Yeah, well, we've been doing these live trainings for everybody getting ready for our Shift to Rise retreat, which you can find out more about at www.shifttorise.com if you haven't checked that out yet. And we've been looking at ways to share a little bit about who we are and what we do, and get people ready for this event. And one of the things, tools that we thought would be really helpful for people is to just do a check-in with where you're at. And actually, this is something that Tara and I do on a regular basis. We meet regularly and we just do a simple check-in with each other.
Yep.
How are we doing in all aspects of our lives, in all aspects of our being? And this is so powerful because we are in a time now that we're moving so quickly through life, right? Or there's that pressure to move very quickly through life. And so the power really is in just taking that moment to slow down and stop and say, hold on, how am I? And creating that white space where you can really truly hear your spirit's answer and hear yourself just come up with whatever you're meant to hear, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we're going to do today. This is a little sacred pause, if you will, to check in with yourself.
Yeah. I love that. Absolutely. And, without the awareness of where am I feeling myself today in all these different areas of my life, we can't really know where we want to move forward or what we need to ask support around, for support around. So it's really just the awareness is the first step in living your dream, whatever that is.
Absolutely. I think too, we're so used to just, somebody asks us, hey, how you doing? The first thing we say is, I'm good, right? We don't even think about it. It's just become this very normal thing to just quickly respond that we're fine. Oh yeah, I'm happy, I'm good. And it takes bravery, a little bit of courage and inspiration and intention to stop and ask yourself, is that true? Are you okay? Is everything going okay? Are you happy in all aspects of your life? Are you feeling balanced? And it can be a little bit scary, but it can be so powerful. And we're here to hold your hand through this process and just know that there is support for you, whatever the answers are that come up for you.
Absolutely. We're here.
We're here. Yeah.
Ask us questions.
Yes, please.
No. So let's get to what this life inventory is all about. So we have broken it down into this beautiful graph that just came through Kimmy earlier. We're like, how should we draw this? Boxes or whatever. So this is what we came up with.
Are we going to share screen?
Yeah, let's share. Okay, so we are going to switch over to our whiteboard.
I think I can do both, show both at the same time. We'll see. You keep talking.
Okay, forgive our graphics.
Thank goodness there's two of us.
Okay. I know, right? So we've split up the sections into 4 just to keep it really simple. Of course, we know that our lives are, multifaceted, and but we've come up with where we can put all of the different aspects and facets of your life into these 4 categories. So what we're going to start with is the spiritual, right? Because if you know us at all, you know that's what, Kitty and I and Pua and Ryan, that's really the foundation of any of the work that we do. And I know with any of my clients, it is absolutely, if the spiritual foundation is unknown or just there's no spiritual life that's happening, it's going to make the rest of the work really that much more challenging to do. So
I'm doing my best here.
I know. Okay, no, you're doing a beautiful job. Beautiful job. So you see this big circle, that's actually your spiritual self, your spiritual foundation. And that's really who you are. Like it's the part of you that from which all of these other parts, which really only live in your human self, come from, right? Because you are God, you are source, you are all that is, you are infinite. That's who you really are. That's the only part of you that will never change. So anything else is basically unreal, right? But it's important and valid because it's what we're living today. So
I hope I'm doing okay. Oh,
Wow.
no. Okay, keep talking.
Okay, so let's just talk about this, your spiritual aspects. And so what I want you to do when we're talking about this, I want you to think about rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay? So 10 is like, yes, I have everything in this area of my life is just amazing and it feels so good to think about. A 1 or a 0 is like, I've never thought about this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what's happening and I need help. And then of course there's all the areas in between. So let's start with your spiritual life because that is the foundation from which all the others flourish and grow. In this space, I would like you to ask yourself, what is your connection to who you really are? To Source, God, all that is, the universe. It does not matter what you call it. It doesn't matter. It's, everybody's individual and their spirituality. What is your connection to that? And how do you know what your connection is to that, right? Like you would ask, well, I don't know. How do I know? A great question to ask is, do I trust life? Do I trust that I am in the right place at the right time? Do I trust that everything is as it should be? And that everything that's coming into my life now is perfect and is exactly the message I need at this moment to move me along on my spiritual evolution, right? When you're connected with this part of yourself, you can call it your higher self, your intuition, right? When you connect with that, there are no fears, doubts, questions. So that would be a 10. Like, I'm sailing through life. I'm flowing through life. Everything is coming easily to me because I trust my higher self. I trust my infinite nature over everything else, over anything I could see in the physical world. And this is basically your perception of everything, right? Mm-hmm. Is the world a friendly place? Do I feel scared? Do I have fear? Do I make my decisions out of fear? Do I make my decisions out of trust? And this can be a practice to learn how to check in with yourself and know what is really right. What's right for you is what your gut says, what your intuition says. There's no exception to that. Mm-hmm. And this is also your purpose or calling. Do you know what that is? Do you have an idea what that is? And that doesn't mean that it's a job or a certain occupation. It's what is easy and natural for you in this world. What do your gifts allow you to bring? Mm-hmm. What lights you up? And we're going to go through this exercise in the retreat actually, and it's a very kind of specific exercise that Antonio does. Mm-hmm. But it's so my calling, for example, my calling is people experiencing their infinite nature. Mm-hmm. So you get you can kind of start to feel out, what is mine? What do I love when people are experiencing when I'm serving them, right? Do you know yours, Kimmy, in that?
Purpose?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's such a great question.
I mean, it can change, right? It's not.
Yeah, I think it's always changing for me, and it's certainly service and helping others to find clarity and trust and faith, and just lifting up people's energy is something that is certainly a big, strong calling of mine. Just helping people to know that everything is figure-outable. Yeah. That is a really something that I feel super connected to, because we get so stuck, right? It's helping people get out of here and back into here. Yeah. So perhaps helping people to reconnect to their heart. Mm-hmm. And, I think that when we're doing an inventory like this, and certainly probably you've come across this or you're familiar with our work, spirituality is not a foreign concept to you. It's something that you're thinking about, you're mindful about, and it plays into your life in some way. But if it feels a little vague to you, or you're not sure, we've talked to a lot of people that are like, I feel like I'm spiritual, but I don't quite know what that means. That's okay. And we'll come back to this as we go through the other areas of your life to check in with. But, just think right now what number comes up for you on a scale of 1 to 10, where you're at. And it's okay if it's low. It's okay if you don't know. And as we go into the other areas, it might help to bring some more clarity to you. So
absolutely. And I think to your point of just letting the number come, you know, not almost seeing it as like a thermometer, you know, so ooh, how high does it go? Up to 10, and it doesn't matter what that is, but trusting that first gut instinct, right? It's trusting that instead of getting in your head thinking, oh my God, well, I'm going to make a list of all the, no, that's not what this is about. This is about what do you feel right now in this moment? Yeah, and that's the correct answer for you right now.
Yes. So let's move on to the mental.
Yeah.
I know for myself, this is like my whole life, I've been like going back and forth between mental and spiritual, I feel. And I have always been connected, feeling very connected in some way to some spiritual and something bigger, but then my brain comes in. And I feel like I'm balancing between these two worlds often, or I have in my life, between my head and my heart, or my head and my spirit. So I think that's really common.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you do this life inventory, check in with yourself. How are you doing mentally? This is your brain's activity, your thoughts that are running through your head. It's ego, for sure, fears, mindset, all the things that we think of when we associate, when we think about our brain or our mind. Communication, and just the beliefs that we have. So this is where you hear a lot of people these days talking about, oh, I have blocks or limiting beliefs and all these things, and that's very much in our head. And maybe you have them, maybe you don't. It's sort of what you think you have. Right?
You are your only block. No, you are your only block. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, checking back in, when you think about up here, your brain, mental area of your life, the mental body, what number comes up for you? How are you doing on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you feeling like you feel clear? You don't feel overrun by your thoughts. You feel like you have, I never like to use the word control over your thoughts, you know, but you
awareness.
Awareness is
yeah, you know that you're the space between the thoughts. You're not the actual thought.
Right. It's like, I heard a really great visual once of, it's like standing behind a waterfall. And the waterfall are your thoughts. They're just raining down, but you're in that beautiful pocket right behind it. You're safe, you're in that cave, that spiritual hug right there. And you just trust that, wow, you can reach out to them if you want, kind of check it out, feel the water, but you're not consumed by it. And yeah, so just take a moment. Let's just let everybody take a moment.
Take a moment.
And we'll go back to my beautiful graphic. I'm really trying, guys.
I know, you are.
Okay. Well, I mean, and if you're listening to this on audio, you don't know what a terrible graphic it is.
Oh, right.
So
we'll have to put it in the
thank God, because
the vlog.
I really don't want anyone to see this ever. But
Kimmy, we're gonna download and put it on everything. All the
I'll
things.
have lots of time to make a better version of it.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But this, and okay, so if you're watching the visual of this as we do this live, these are supposed to be even.
Yeah, the 3 pieces of the pie, if you will, are even. We're not saying one is more important than the other. The spiritual is, you see the total foundation, but then other than that.
And then our Facebook friends can't see this, but
yeah, that's right. Sorry, Facebook friends. We will put a graphic up, though.
If you want to see the graphic, you'll have to just come to our retreat.
That's right. You just have to boom. You just have to come to the retreat.
Okay.
And then we're moving over to the physical, right?
Yes, so let's talk about that next.
Okay, so now you have your sort of numbers spiritually and mentally. So moving into the physical space, the physical area, this is, of course, your body, right? And everything that, goes along with, your bodily, functions. You know what I mean? How does your body feel?
I'm so glad you said bodily functions.
That's awesome. Well, that is such a great measure, though, of like, as having a background in Chinese medicine, I've never in my life talked about poo more than, and it would become in our like, we had this lounge, and we would all, the acupuncture students would get together, and we'd just be chit-chatting over lunch or whatever, and I'd shoot the shit. We would literally shoot the shit. We would all be like, oh, how are your bowels today? Because that would tell you exactly what was going on in the body, right? So that's good to pay attention to, obviously. But so not only your body, right, what you put in it, so your nutrition, your hydration, all of that, your environment, right, where do you feel good in your environment at home and wherever else you spend your time? Do you feel good in the environment outside? Do you connect with nature? You know, all of these external things, anything tangible, the self-care, you know, do you make time? Do you have a budget for self-care? That would be, you know, whatever feels good for you, acupuncture, massage, chiropractic, going to retreats, taking time out, you know, doing your meditation. You know, that's of course spiritual as well, but you're sitting to do it, right? It takes physical time. And then of course we have, what did I miss? Oh, money. Yeah. Hello. Hello. So that's an external energy. That's external energy, right? It is also an infinite resource, by the way, but we'll talk about that at the retreat. Yeah, it's like one of my favorite subjects. So how do you feel? Do you feel like it, you know, every time in your heart or your gut when you open your checkbook, or do people have checkbooks? I don't know, but I still do. Okay, whatever. Or like you look at your bank account or think about, you know, purchasing something or paying bills. Like, is this a source of stress for you? All of these things are the physical. So just take a moment now and check in. You can even close your eyes and ask the thermometer what it goes up to, and just watch it and see where it stops.
I love that. And there will always be crossover. Just keep that in mind, especially when we're talking about the mental and the physical, right? You might be thinking, oh, well, I'm always thinking about my body. Is that physical or is that mental? And it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. This is just, again, a way to sort of take an inventory, a snapshot of where you're at, so that you can, with awareness, move forward and begin to shift to where you want to be, so that you can rest. Okay, so we have the mental, we have the physical, and now let's talk about the emotional. Ooh, emotions, yes. So this is, of course, everything to do with the heart. It's our feelings. It's like mental, it's also communication. It's communication in terms of how you relate to others. So relationships, how are you expressing yourself? How are you expressing what's in your heart out to the world, out to others? This is really how much are you allowing yourself to feel your feelings? And what is your, as Tara has said, what is your capacity for that? I love that wording. So your heart.
Yeah, which with your heart, it's your heart. And so this is also the relationship that you have with yourself, right? Did you say that? You probably did. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay, say it again. Somebody needs to hear it again.
Right? And yeah, and with others, and getting back to, like, you see on the graph here that we have the everything that's being kind of supported or held up by the spiritual aspect. And when you build the foundation below, then everything else, like we said before, takes care of itself. So when you fully realize, when you have self-realization, which I know is a weird term for some people, what does that mean? Realizing who you really are, which is an infinite being. And you can bring that into your human experience, right? That's what we're here for right now. So, but you may need to spend some time, right, in this space of the spiritual and exploring with, what would it be like to think about myself as not a person, as not identifying with all of these things, as not having needs and wants and desires, you know? And that can be, I know we're getting a little, ahead of ourselves right now, which of course we're going to go into more in the retreat, but how powerful can that work be in actually bringing it back to the physical? Because when source is shining through your physical being and who you are, then life is literally easy and flows. Seriously. And you're not going to necessarily need the same level or amount of challenges, because your challenges are only there to support your highest good and your highest growth, and thus the highest good and highest growth of all, right? Because we're all connected, we're all one, we're all the same. So that's sort of the at the retreat, and of course doing this work long term, is that, I think we all want to experience that natural bliss that we actually are. And that's kind of the point, but looking at where you are in all of these different places and spaces will give you, if you're in this little wheel right here, if you're like, oh man, all of that is just, I'm not stable, it's not good, whatever, then we look below, right? Look at the spiritual, see what's going on there.
Love it.
That was my little.
I love it. Let's check and see if we have any Facebook. Just want to make sure we don't have any questions.
I know.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, good.
We do have, is
Lisa.
Lisa's watching. I think you've been watching for a while, Lisa. Hi.
My friend.
Hi, Let us know if you have any questions.
Oh, wonderful. Well, okay. So again, just to recap so far, we are taking an inventory, just checking in, quieting ourselves and checking in. How are we doing mentally? How are we doing physically? How are we doing emotionally? And if you can't see me right now, I'm touching my each area. Head, body. It's like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And then, how are we doing spiritually? So encompassing all of that. I think of it almost like a mother's hug. Right? It's like a mother's hug. It's underneath it all. And now I think is a great time to revisit spiritual. Just do another check-in and see, how are you doing? Given all these other aspects of what you have going on, can you ask yourself that question again? Do you really feel like you can trust? Do you really feel like you're okay, that you are supported, that you can't mess up your life?
You can't screw up your life,
Sarah says. And again, if the answer is no, that's okay.
It's okay.
That's why we do all the things we do,
Exactly.
and why we have trainings like this, why we have endless conversations about this very subject, and why we create amazing retreats like our retreat. Because something in you, believe me, if you have listened to this point, something in you knows your truth and is connecting to this in some way. And so honor that and get excited and just have a playful, explorative, is that a word? Explorative, adventurous time with all of this. And the moment that you start feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I feel in it, just trust that you're back in your head.
Yep. and that is not the place to be in this moment, right?
Just take a moment, smell some oils, check in with a friend, check in with us, and bring yourself back to that expansive place.
Mm-hmm. And ask yourself, can I just rest in source, in all that is and all that I am? Can I rest there? Because if you can't rest there, life can be very exhausting, right? So it's okay if you can't. It's okay if you don't even know what that means. That's why we're here, absolutely. So thank you so much for going through this little life inventory with us.
And just a practical application of this. And I feel like that's what's so cool. I'm just going to toot our own horns.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's so cool. What's so cool about Shift to Rise. And the reason that the four of us are working together is because I really do feel like we all have that blend of practical and spiritual.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and it's
absolutely.
like totally our vibe. Like I love that because it's all great to, have these spiritual aspirations and this and that, but we're living in a physical world. And so how do we take all these, wonderful feelings and awareness and have it work in the day-to-day? And so a really great practical application for a life inventory like this is to just put it in your calendar every single week. to,
Absolutely.
awesome if you have an accountability partner. We have
Yeah.
a little sisterhood master
We
heart, we
do.
call it. Not a
Yeah.
mastermind, but a master heart.
Aw.
And so we check in with each other. Hey,
Yeah.
how you doing? And that kind of accountability is so powerful. And if you don't have that, it's okay. We live in a world where Facebook is available to you. There's so many Facebook groups and things that you could reach out to. There's us as a community. There's our retreat. Like, just there's so many ways to
And you
stay
can
connected.
even post on our page, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner.
Oh, I love it.
Who wants to partner up and go through this exercise with me and check in weekly for 15 minutes?
Yes.
We offer that for you. Absolutely.
For sure. You have your amazing Facebook group.
I do.
Yep.
Which is full of accountability. And
Yes, and Pua and I have a tribe of free, there's tons of free Facebook groups out there too.
Just hit us up and we'll send you message us.
Yeah, and but again, even if you don't have that and you want just a simple way to do this practice on your own, what is today? Thursday. Every Thursday, like 1 week from now, check back in. Ask yourself these same questions. How are you doing mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Just put a little reminder in your calendar to just take a little sacred pause in your week, check in, and ask yourself. And I do so believe from the bottom of my heart that taking that time out of your busy life has the power to totally transform your life.
Absolutely. Because from that, again, with the practical, then you can ask yourself, okay, in the mental, I'm really kind of a hot mess over here. Like my mind is running the show. Okay, so what am I going to do to facilitate this situation? And again, we're available for support. We can, send you in the right direction. We know lots of people. We're connected. We can refer you on, or we're obviously here too. So, what other things, what action steps are you going to take that are coming from, not from here again, right? From here, the inspired action. So, and that's really, and if you're really confused about all of this, come to the retreat.
Let's talk about the retreat. Let's share a little bit.
Okay. Because we have our amazing,
oh my God,
bonus package.
We have to share about that.
Okay. So we decided to come up with this just totally great bonus package that is good until the 15th, which is next week. I don't know, Wednesday or something, Thursday.
I don't know.
Anyway, so if you,
what is time?
It doesn't exist anyway. Like it really doesn't, but whatever.
The 15th though.
The 15th. And if you apply, and of course when you apply, you actually get an hour with one of us, with one of your coaches.
Yes.
Right? You actually get an hour. That's right there enough reason to apply. There's no commitment to, from you to join, and it's not a guaranteed spot, because the reason we have the conversation is we're seeing if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a small group, and we want to make sure everybody there is great for everyone. So if you apply and we feel it's a great fit and you enroll by the 15th, you get this bonus package, which includes, I'm going to start with the big one, a private dinner with the four of us, right? Us two, Ryan and Pua, on us, and an extra night stay.
That's so huge.
I know, that's huge. At this amazing retreat. So that Monday night, you'll be staying to have dinner with us and stay an extra night. And we're only holding that open for 5 people. So if you want to be one of the 5,
small.
the table's small. Well, we want it to be intimate, right? We want to be able to have conversations and really just be there for people, and whatever happens, it's. And maybe we'll jump in the pool after.
Ooh,
who knows, right? Like, just have fun, and then you get a whole extra luxurious night at this amazing estate.
Yep.
And then we have,
there's some ebooks that you've written. We have Ryan's book
that will be out by then.
We have a free, what was that? Free?
1 month.
1 month free of the BLE Buzz membership. That's Pua and my membership that we have for
so amazing.
Best Life Ever, productivity, time, energy management, all the things to create your best life ever. So that's awesome. A digital planner from Best Life Ever. And
also, you get 3 additional coaching sessions.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
With each of us.
It's amazing. This
Before
is the best bonus
April.
package ever.
Yeah, because we want to kind of get you geared up for it, and you'll come in and you'll be like, ooh, yeah, I already know what my intention. I know what I want to do here. I know what right? So you're kind of like getting ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that there's ever getting ahead or getting behind, because there isn't, but honestly, come on. I said that and I was like, wait a minute, that's not even real.
So
But you get support.
and it's valued at $4,444.
Hey there, baby. 4444. All the angels coming down in fours. And you get this. We're just silly.
Right.
We're just
So we encourage you to register at www.shift2rise.com. And also, I'd just like to mention that when you enter in your email, you don't have to apply right away if you don't feel inspired to, but that at least gets you on our email list so that you can get the recording of this. You can get our amazing graphic that I'm gonna redo. And you get to know about other events that we do too.
Right.
So if this retreat, if April doesn't work for you, we're gonna do it again. So just let us know.
And you'll get the application in your inbox, like if you don't want to do it, so you can just click on it, do it later. But if you want one of the 5 spots, you gotta do it.
Yeah, you gotta take action
by
right now.
at least the 14th, right?
Yeah. This is all about taking inspired action.
Inspired action. Like,
Inspired
if you
action.
feel it, if you're like, oh.
I think about all the amazing things that I've done in my life, and they've all come from that feeling, right? It's like that, like, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but I just got to do this. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it.
And I don't know how it's going to work out, like logistically, or where the money's coming from, whatever. You know what? Universe conspires for you.
Yes,
to support
absolutely.
you.
I mean, we've had so many amazing conversations too with applicants that weren't sure how they were going to make this happen, and for some of them, it's going to work out just fine. For some, what they needed was just that conversation, and that's huge too.
That's
huge. This is just an opportunity to connect with us, so why not?
You'll shift no matter what.
No matter what. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Yay!
I think that's
it. Any questions?
Questions!
Yay! Well, wonderful. And let us know if you'd like. We're going to be doing other trainings too. So if you have things you'd like to hear us talk about specifically,
please,
and
we would love topics from you, so we know that we're giving you what you need and what you want.
Yeah, yay! Awesome.
Okay, thank you guys. Thanks, Zoomers. Thank you, Facebook.
Yay!
Love you. How do you know Lisa?